What is Surrealism? Surrealism is an artistic and literary movement created in 1924 by the French critic and poet André Breton. It is heavily influenced by the psychoanalytic theories of the Austrian physician Sigmund Freud and highlights the role of unconsciousness and automatism in the creative activity, without any control exerted by reason and without any preoccupation for the beautiful and the correct. What are the two types of surrealism? One is influenced by dreams. Dreams are an object of study and an inspiration for the surrealists. They are a fascinating biological necessity that enable us to organize our mind, forget what doesn't matter, and store memories. And it is the moment when our mind freely creates relations between the conscious and unconscious. Another is focused on automatism. The surrealists use techniques based on automatism, chance, and the unconscious. Characteristics that enable to free the creative act and distance the artist from control and thought reasoning. And Surrealism in Portugal. Surrealism appears between two world wars, but arrives in Portugal at a second moment. Despite being conditioned by the repression of the Salazar regime, the Portuguese Surrealists founded the Lisbon Surrealist Group in 1947 and the Surrealists in 1948. We highlight the following Surrealist artists. Mario Cesarini was a poet, painter, translator, and stood out for the exploration of materials and the introduction of humor, irony, criticism, irreverence, and drama. Cruzeiro Seixas was a painter and poet. He stood out through his surrealist objects, a technique which consists in integrating mundane and less noble objects into works of art, granting them the dignity to be exhibited. Fernando Lemos, photographer, illustrator, poet, designer, and professor, who stood out for conquering the experimental universe of surrealist photography in Portugal. Júlio, poet, painter, civil engineer, and considered by some to be one of the first artists to introduce surrealist imagery in Portugal in the 30s. What did surrealism bring anew? A new way of seeing art, through the unconscious, dreams and fantasy, privileging free thought instead of rational thought. And new forms of expression, through the development of surrealist techniques in which chance controls the artist and the surprise factor is always present, privileging the creative process instead of the final result. Due to the familiarity with the theme of dreams and the inspirational search for freedom of thought, empathy for surrealism is easily created.